Hello, everyone, and welcome to Technology Tuesday presented by Out of the Box Technology. Today, we are diving into what's new in QuickBooks Online. My name is Jennifer, and I will be your moderator today. If you have any questions as we go through today's presentation, please feel free to use the chat feature there on your GoToWebinar control panel and send over any questions that you have. We'll be sure to answer those before the end of today's session. Additionally, this presentation is being recorded, and so don't give yourself carpal tunnel taking a whole bunch of notes. Just sit back and enjoy, and we will send a link to the recording later this afternoon, if not first thing tomorrow morning, so you can revisit the topic, share it with colleagues and friends, and just enjoy today's presentation. A little bit about Out of the Box Technology. If you have never joined us before, or maybe it has been a while, we are anything and everything QuickBooks. So what really does that mean? Well, we have a whole team of certified QuickBooks Pro Advisors, and we are an elite QuickBooks solution provider that can service all of the QuickBooks family of products, from all versions of desktop to the versions of QuickBooks Online, as you'll hear today. We do data services and accounting services, bookkeeping, recurring work, and of course, training, integration, and support that surrounds each of those elements of QuickBooks. So today I am so excited to welcome Vicki Newton, one of our executive directors on the accounting team here at Out of the Box Technology, and she's going to dive in. We've been working together over the last couple of months to really pull together these great new features that are offered in QuickBooks Online. Being that it is a cloud-based software, there's always new things that Intuit is able to push out, and so we're thrilled to be able to present those to you today. So without further ado, Vicki, I'm going to hand things over to you and let you take it away.
Well, great. Good morning, everybody. Good afternoon to some of you. You're all over the place. Like Jennifer said, I'm Vicki Newton, and I've been in this realm with Out of the Box Technology for about 6 years, and I've been doing accounting for over 40. Learn something new every day. That's something I tell all my clients is no matter how much you use the product, there's always something that comes across that you weren't aware was even available. So some of those we might hit on today for some of you. Go ahead and go to the next slide, Jen. So a couple of things I just wanted to point out to kind of spark your interest in today's information. Some of the new features, just a few of them, not all of them, in QBO. There's a new powerful multi-company reporting in QBO Advanced, and it's for those people who have more than one company on QBO, and now we can actually do more consolidated reports. We'll get into more details here in a little bit. We can also set email schedules for standard and custom reports in QBO Advanced, and that's really a great thing that you'll be able to set up schedules to send out reports to people that have the interest in seeing those. We'll, like I say, we'll touch more in details on each of these if we go through. There's a new QuickBooks payment dispute protection that's available to clients, and the recurring invoices and payments are now available in all QBO plans, not just the higher end ones. Go ahead, next slide. So what's new in 2023? We have the email schedules for reports. So you can now send relevant reports and insights directly to your owners, stakeholders, email boxes automatically by setting email schedules. So the reports in QuickBooks Online Advanced. You can set these schedules from each of the tabs in the reporting, the standard reports tab and the custom reports tab, and while creating a custom report. And I find this would be a great tool for those that may be doing bookkeeping for a client, maybe having to send reports to owners. Once you know you're done, you can have those things automatically set up so that it'll go ahead and just send those profit and loss and balance sheets and whatever report that you need to create to send to whoever needs to see those. And I think that will help a lot of people and not forget, and it'll be a great tool for the people that are getting those, and they can let you know if there's additional things that they want more of. So I think you'll find if you're in QBO Advanced that that would be a nice feature to that's been added. Go ahead to the next. So it shows you here a little bit about how you create a schedule within a report, and it just basically will say you can create it, set it up as the name of the report. You can just send them every week, every month, every year, when you want them to start, what day you want them to go, how often you want them to go. So it's pretty detailed in what you have the ability to set up to send out automatically. The recurring invoices and payments, this feature right here is something that I've always loved, because I personally, some of the clients that I work with will have multi-clients that they send out monthly invoices on. And if you have to go in and create all those invoices every month, it can be cumbersome. So the scheduling and receiving recurring payments as well is all in all plans now, the Simple Start, Essentials, Plus, and Advanced, not just the higher ends, like I said. So if you need to have a customer on an invoice on a regular basis, you can choose the ideal schedule for that invoice. If it's every day, every week, every month, or a year. Once you set that up, your invoices will go out at those times and automatically without you having to lift a finger. And not only that, your customers will have the option to set up automatic payments for their recurring invoices. So more QuickBooks customers can get now paid faster and save time with the recurring invoices and payments in the QuickBooks Online. So I've really loved this, that this is available to everyone now, because it can help a lot of people with lower end subscriptions have recurring transactions. One of the new things that they've also introduced is that a lot of people will go ahead and use the QBO app. Instead of logging in, they just log into the app. It's two different things, but you can also log into the app from phones. But it's telling us now that it will support Mac and Windows as far as logging in with the app instead of logging in the way that we're doing it now. So just a quick note there that that is available for those users as well. Okay, payment dispute protection. So this is something new with the new dispute and QB payments. Chargebacks are automatically forgiven with no action required by you. You do have to sign up for that. It's a 2-click enrollment. You don't have to submit any paperwork or evidence. They don't ask any questions. There is an additional fee of 0.99% on card transactions, and the maximum is up to $25,000 per year and $10,000 per transaction. When I read this portion, I was telling to myself, it's like, how much do I actually have people disputing credit card charges? And if you don't have people disputing them, it wouldn't really be worth it for you to have this protection, but it is now available to you if you would like, if you have that problem in excess. Go ahead, next one. So some of the other new features, customer tips. I thought this was a really nice thing. So now your customers can leave an additional amount for you or your employees on the invoices. What I found was that in the past, people would just pay extra, and then you had to go through a bunch of steps to try to separate all that. But now you can keep all parts of that transaction in one place. You don't have to separate the payments for tips. It just makes it easier for your customers to show their appreciation for your services. And it assures that your books stay up to date and that tips are recorded accurately to your books. The instant QuickBooks checking is what it's related to QuickBooks checking. You actually have instant deposits in QuickBooks checking. It's now easier than ever. There's no long-term commitment. You can choose which deposits that you want instantly and receive up to $25,000 per day. You can also set a schedule of instant deposits to save even more time. And they're available 24/7, even on holidays and weekends. This is really to help keep your cash flowing for payroll or other expenses. If you know someone's paying you a big amount and you want that to go into a QuickBooks checking account, if you have that set up, it's really a nice tool to have to make sure you have enough money to cover those things. There is no fee to have instant check deposits if it's going to a QuickBooks checking account. But if you are going to have, you want it go into another bank, there is a 1% charge to have it go to another bank. Let's see here. Let me go. If you use QuickBooks checking, you can now also make a payment reconciliation and accounting more efficient by linking a check payment you received to its associated invoice in the records. So it's just saying, just link an invoice to a check. Once you deposit it, you just go in and it'll see now that you would have the option to match an invoice, and then you pick that invoice and then it'll be all connected to each other. So those are some really good tools that they've added as well. So what's new in Online Advanced? I've touched on a couple of things. We're going to just go into this a little bit more. Advanced updates, they now have the ability to do estimates versus actuals in projects. If you have a company that you are doing project tracking for, cost accounting and for revenue recognition, they really are working hard on getting this to be as good as it is in the desktop version, because they really are pushing people to go to the QBO versions. So now they're saying that you can do the estimates for actual projects, that there's ability to have for accrual basis accounting, you can recognize deferred income automatically with revenue recognition. You can, there's actually also, so in the first part, there's also a Spreadsheet Sync that you can track your project performance with that estimates versus actual program. There, the third one down on custom roles. Now there's actually the ability to create custom roles in your Online Advanced so that it can include more detailed permissions for invoices and bills. A lot of times I have clients that say, I only want this person to see this and that. I think they're trying to really get that more defined like it is in desktop so that we can limit the access to users that we may set up. With the QuickBooks Online Advanced, you now get a more seamless way to back up and restore your data as needed with the backup and restore upgrade, including automatic pre-checks to improve restore success rates. A lot of people don't realize that there is a way that you can back up your data, even though it's in the cloud. But I have people that say, well, I'm going to turn this off and I'm going to go back to desktop, or I'm closing the company down, but I need to save all my information. There is a way in QuickBooks Online Advanced that you can back up and get all that information stored, so you don't have to keep your subscription open forever and keep paying for that. With QuickBooks Online Advanced, you also, there's now a custom report builder that allows you to make your own reports to meet your specific needs. I think it's just given us a little bit more flexibility with that custom report builder in Online Advanced. And within the Performance Center, you can now create customized charts and graphs and track key performance indicators for your business. A lot of these tools are stuff you kind of have to sometimes play with to get them to where you want them to be. Everyone that I work with, there's no two companies alike. So they generally have certain things they want. And that's the great thing about a lot of this, is it's very flexible to be able to get the information that you want to get. So next slide. So the Spreadsheet Sync, this is something that is really nice. So now, you know, you're hit a nutshell, you're curious how your subsidiary company is affecting your overall business performance, right? So now you can find what It's called Spreadsheet Sync in QuickBooks Online Advanced. So you can use this sync to group QuickBooks data from multiple companies. And this is something that they have in desktop where you can do consolidated financials. And so they're trying to get that going in the desktop version as well. So you choose the data you want to include to build pivot tables. You can use formulas and functions and insert graphs. With Spreadsheet Sync, you can merge multiple charts of accounts and let Excel handle the complex calculations to save time and generate the consolidated reports that you're looking for. To continue tracking multiple entities and companies, you can save these reports and refresh them with the latest data at any time. So with these consolidated reports from Spreadsheet Sync and QuickBooks Online Advanced, you will see more easily how your business's health as a whole and get a better view of each subsidiary's impact on the parent business. I do have clients that may have several QBO subscriptions, and I've gotten asked this several times over the years, is that how can I consolidate these? How can I bring these into one? And before it was really difficult to try to do that, and now they've made it a lot simpler for you to be able to do that. Next slide. So this slide kind of shows you how a report can look and how you pull in the different subsidiaries, and then there's a refresh button that once you have this set up, that then it will bring it to current data that's in your system. So that's just kind of a little example. Okay, QuickBooks Online Payroll. So now there's an easier migration process. And when we say migration, this thing is now you can move your payroll data to online payroll with just a few clicks. So even if you're on desktop, it's saying that now you could buy a QuickBooks Online Payroll subscription, create a payroll only company file. Then you can easily move your payroll data online to get all the benefits of a cloud-based payroll solution, and there's no manual setup required. So what's really nice about this is it allows people, when you have it on the cloud, to be able to go in and process a payroll from whatever device that you can log into your QuickBooks from. And sometimes that can be an issue with desktop if you're hosted or if it's just kept on a particular computer. People go out of town like, oh, I need to run payroll. Well, if you do this, then it allows you that more flexibility in processing those things.
Well, Vicki, you've covered it all. You've done a great job.
Well, there's you could go into a lot more detail with some things, but I would say that if anyone is interested in learning more about those things, obviously you can contact us and set up some consulting and training time, and we can walk you through some of this. But they always are adding little features here and there. So even if it was something we didn't talk about today, it doesn't hurt to ask, is this a possibility? I have clients all the time that say, is this a possibility for me to do this? Because like I say, you just never know until you look into it, because they're always updating things, and it's even hard for us as pro certified advisors to keep up with everything. That's why we recertify regularly, so that we make sure we do know about the new features and stuff maybe we didn't know in the past. So.
Absolutely. And that's what I was just going to mention. I know all of you are going through that recertification process right now. So you really are digging in and, fully immersed in all of these new features, training yourselves on how to use them and how they can best apply for your clients. So we definitely hold you in high regard for all that you can do for the clients, either on QBO or even in desktop. Some of the stuff translates both ways, some obviously doesn't. There's definitely benefits to using the cloud-based system versus the desktop application. And so, Vicki, that was one of the questions we had, is what would be the benefit of using an app, QBO, being in the cloud, versus just being on your computer with desktop?
The app itself, there's sometimes they say it's the timing, sometimes they say it's the I at one point was using the app on my desktop as well. It kept things more, I don't know if you want to say timely, but I think the biggest plus side to using the app is being able to use it from your phone, or from wherever you might be. Yeah, we can log into QBO just regularly through the cloud, but having that app, especially on the phone, because it allows you to see things more like you would actually see them on the computer, versus sometimes if you log into it from your browser on your phone, it doesn't always look the same.
Absolutely. Our next question is, if I have multiple QBO accounts and want to be able to have consolidated financials, do all the accounts have to be on QBO Advanced?
That is my understanding.
Okay. Thank you. All right, this question is a little detailed, so be frank with me if I'm stumping you, Vicki, but I doubt it. Do you know anything about how to connect with other vendors to pay invoices directly online?
Connect with other vendors to pay invoices online. So I'm kind of thinking maybe I need a little bit more detail on that question. Is there something in specific?
So this was from Lisa. So Lisa, if you can just be a little more specific on what you're asking here, I'm sure Vicki will be happy to dive into that. We had a question early on, Vicki, and I can't recall what it was specifically related to, but we have an audience member asking if multi-company and locations are the same thing.
No, they are not. Multi-company is separate subscription. Locations is where you can have multiple locations within one file. So they're two different things. I'm just thinking about that last question because.
Yeah, it looks like, so another person kind of piggybacked off of that and said, I keep getting requests from vendors to connect with my QuickBooks. What does that mean? Maybe they're just trying to pay an invoice via QuickBooks? With that pay now where you can just email the invoice and it has to somehow.
I mean, if it's coming from vendors, because usually, like I know us as a vendor, if we send out invoices, then people can go in and pay them directly that way. So I don't know if there are, if they're talking about maybe that that they're not, that the vendors are sending them invoices and they're not going in and paying them that way, and they're just sending checks or.
It says they're wanting to connect so they can send their invoice directly to my QuickBooks.
Oh. I haven't heard of that. Now, there's probably some type of third-party app that may do something like that, but I haven't worked with one anymore. They're just creating new apps all the day and new connectivity and things that will integrate. So I think that would probably involve doing some additional research.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna make note of that because that's really interesting. What that is. I'd be curious. All right, so we have time for just a couple more questions here. Lorraine is asking, we're a nonprofit organization and we are on QuickBooks 2018. We've been meaning for years to convert to QBO. Do you have staff who can help us with this conversion?
Oh, yes, we do. So we have a whole data conversion team, and their process is to look at your file to kind of determine the questions that they would need to ask in order to give you a proposal on what the cost would be to convert from the desktop to the QBO. And then what I have is a lot of people that come to me then when they're switching to get training on how to use QBO correctly, and we make sure that everything came over correctly. But yes, we do have, and the end thing is we do have a data conversion team that handles all those.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's what they do day in and day out. So they've seen every mess possible. They've seen clean books, they've seen disorganization, they've really seen it all. So it's really a great team to trust with that process for you.
And if that client, that attendee has 2018, yeah, you want to make a decision because you're not being supported by Intuit at all with that 2018 version.
Correct. Great segue. It's like I teed that up for you, Vicki. Every May 31st, Intuit does sunset, discontinue, whatever adjective, verb we want to talk about here, but for the version of QuickBooks 3 years prior. So we just went through the sunset of QuickBooks Desktop 2020. That was on May 31st of this year. And so what does that mean? It's not that you won't ever be able to log in. Obviously, this attendee is on 2018 and still able to function. But it is meaning that any sort of support or updates, security backups, all that kind of stuff will no longer be in effect for those editions 2020 and earlier. So each year they sunset those 3 years back. So if you are sitting in a product that is older, 2020 or older, I would definitely get in touch with our team just to ensure really you want to make sure you're on a recent product, especially for the security updates and backups.
Yeah, and that can affect if you are doing payroll, your desktop as well. Usually, I mean, normally if you're not in a current version or, a supported version, your payroll won't work or be supported as well.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, well, we have time for one more question here. I know we do a lot of work with the construction industry, manufacturing, contractors. We really have a whole segment just for that. And so this question I thought I would pose to you, Vicki. Is it possible to put contractors' insurance information on QBO so that we know that their insurance covered if it's expired prior to paying them? We know desktop has this feature. Is this something available in QBO that you're aware of?
You can actually attach documents in the customer or vendor, or the customer, I guess contractor would be a vendor, in the vendor file. One of the things that I always tell people, instead of having to keep a bunch of W-9s, for example, is scan them in and attach them to the file. You could do the same thing with the insurance. You could scan it in and attach them to their vendor records so that it's right there and you can just review them on a regular basis to make sure everyone's current.
Fantastic. Well, Vicki, that is all the questions that we have. I'm so glad for the engagement with the audience. Thank you all so much. And we did have someone comment with the bill pay from a vendor. There is an add-on in QBO called Melio. I think that
Melio is,
so that could be the solution.
And I haven't heard a lot of people like over thrilled with it, but it is something that's available.
Yep, absolutely.
Okay.
So if you have any further questions, here's our contact information up on the screen. Again, like I said, this is being recorded, so everyone will get a copy of that recording so you can watch anything back, share it with colleagues, friends, just to kind of dive in together. And if there's anything else that kind of comes up as you're either working through your files, or if you watch this back and you're just curious about with QuickBooks Online, making a switch, the desktop sunset we discussed, any of that, we'd love to hear from you. There's our contact information. Vicki, thank you so much. I know you are a busy, busy lady with your clients and your team. So taking the time to spend with us is just really, really appreciated. So thank you so much. And we hope to see you again soon.
All right.